In 1 week, Joe Louis Esquivel, the man charged in the Smithsburg mass shooting that killed 3 people and seriously hurt 2 others, will be back before a judge for the end of his court proceedings. The victims' families have recently been notified of a plea deal on the table. DC News Now's Lex Juarez spoke with those family members and has more on what's expected to happen in court.
It makes me sick to my stomach.
Physically ill at the thought of Joe Louis Esquivel being released back into society. The 24-year-old is charged with shooting and killing 3 people, including Joshua Wallace, the love of Taylor Tom's life. Now a plea deal on the table will ensure Esquivel goes away for mental health treatment and then released, rather than to prison.
No matter how much I want to do, it's not going to bring Josh back, but I wanted justice for that. Like, that's the one thing that I've always believed in, is that, like, when you do something wrong, like, there is consequences to your actions.
Mark Fry was another man who died in the shooting. His wife, Angie, speaking out for the first time after losing faith in the justice system because of the plea deal.
The families and I have been advised from the onset that he would never see the light of day. We were told that even if there was any findings of mental illness, that there was enough evidence to rebut any suspicion of insanity.
We all knew that he wasn't mentally stable just by doing the actions that he did. For God's sakes, Jeffrey Dahmer, you think that he was right in the head? No, clearly not. But he faced the consequences to his actions.
While the victims' families tell me they want Esquivel to get the help he needs, they don't want him back on the streets. The state's attorney's office blindsided them with the news of the plea just a few weeks ago. A complete 180 from the original argument in court that Esquivel was a threat to society.
I feel like I don't count at all. I feel like my husband's death was for nothing.
Before, I felt like there was a purpose, you know, like I had to be there for this trial. I had to stick up for Josh and be there to make sure that he got the justice that he deserves. But now it's kind of like, what's the point?
Initially, Esquivel was facing multiple life sentences.
Mr. McCormick told us, this is the law, and if you don't like it, call your state legislature.
State Senator Paul Quarterman and former delegate Neil Parrott were both at the scene after the mass shooting. Quarterman took to Facebook, calling the terms of the plea deal a terrible injustice. Parrott agreed.
It's a travesty of justice, and I do hope the state's prosecutors look at this again and reanalyze it and actually try and prosecute him.
The victim's last hope is that their impact statements strike a chord.
He ruined people's lives, and I want him to face those consequences. I want him to understand that.
The court date is set for May 2nd at 9:30 in the morning. Reporting for DC News Now, I'm Lex Juarez.